Hi everyone, welcome. We're going to start. Thank you for being on time. We have here, I see AVC members, I see 80s. Hello, true name, Cloaky, Lou, Jack, Nix, have Marian here, Pedro, and Unbuilder. So we're going to start. This is already our 22nd AVC Subcommittee meeting. This week's focus is on the governance scope. So let's begin. As always, I'm going to share our Notion with all the links. Give me a minute. By the way, if there is a certain topic that you would like us to discuss, please bring into the chat. And well, as always, this meeting has been organized and prepared by the two members of the Sovereign Finance AVC. Shout out to Sid Latam and OX Root. Okay, so these are the topics that we're gonna cover today. Actually, lately we've been having like a bit of a struggle, like making our calls, making our committee meetings more like engagement. I mean, engaging and more like useful for AVC members, for ADs, and we want like more people to get involved, like to participate actively, to share like insights during the call, and more than just listen to the talk or to the call. And so yes, we are want to know how we can improve in that part. So during the call there's like more discussion, debates, maybe some comments. And probably this is not just that happens during sovereign finance AVCs. This is the same struggle that it's for different AVC. It's not the same as the beginning, right? Now it's more complicated to, okay, how can we continue improving this scope, right? And not maybe just for AVCs, also now for ADs that even now have more tasks with the weekly tasks that each one has. So yes, we ask for ideas for order to have our calls more um to be more, of course, as always, relevant, but more than that, even to get involved more, to participate actively more. Yeah, I wanted to start by saying that, and then we're going to, this is our topics from today. We're going to start with the alignment conservative code of conduct. That this is a proposal that was we're gonna talk more into it just in a minute. Also some comments and proposals made by Cloaky. Of course, about the modifications made by Rune on the governance scope. We're going to have a focus, of course, on MIP 113 and the certain changes, including also the roles, of course, of the AVC's role, and during last Friday's GAIT call, he also mentioned certain details about AVC's roles and how we should work. And if we have time, because those are like we think it's more relevant to have a discussion on, and then, well, if we still have more time, we'll recap our last governance scope week proposals and about, well, the core unit upboarding as well. To begin, if there is okay, so the Q3 Sovereign Finance Alliance Scope proposals document, and I'm going to share it. This also was in the forum post, Discord post. For anyone who has not read it yet, here is the link. Okay, so this we presented at the forum, and we're going to focus on the part that includes that the governance facilitators should develop a code of conduct that specifically defines the behaviors prohibited for each of the alignment conservers. So we have highlighted this particular part, and of course, this includes AVC members, ADs, facilitators, and budget allocator. To carry out their tasks, they can propose meeting and or service with each of these ecosystem actors to thoroughly understand which behavior should be expressly prohibited. So yes, this particular part we're going to focus on. And well, this proposal was taken up by the then Palc AD, and they submitted at the forum an amendment to proposal, and well, which among other things, well, included this part, which mentioned that that includes that governance facilitators are responsible for developing detailed code of conduct that unambiguously defines the behaviors considered violations for each role of an AC, of an alignment concern. Um, this includes, but not is limited to AVC members, to ADs, again, to facilitators, to budget allocator. It could be, it could involve during the development process active consultations, like meeting service in order to get to understand each other's role, and that the code of conduct must be reviewed and updated periodically, of course, to adapt to evolving norms and standards. As we know, everything change so fast, so this could be updated periodically. I'm going to share also this part, which is the amendment. There was actually very interesting discussion in the posts. So there was comments from Clockies, there was even from Monopolica, and then Pal's reply, and it was his. They were discussing about the idea of giving governance facilitators the authority to decide what actions are considered violations for the role, of course. And as you can see here on the slides, because these are quotes from Clocky's comments, Paul's comments, and uh, their suggestions. Well, Cloaky suggests that this policy should be revised, and then Paul proposes incorporating a feedback period, or RFC, or a request for comments, um, so that governance members can share their opinions, insights, and probably suggest modifications or changes. Clocky responds expressing concern that just having requests for comments periods might not be enough. They suggest implementing a system where modifications or changes to the facilitator code of conduct would require approval through a weekly vote, in order to ensure accountability. So what's your take on this? Do you believe that there should be a feedback period after the governance facilitators have updated the code of conduct, and this, of course, would allow the maker ecosystem to say their comments, to voice their concerns and opinions before it's implemented? This is one option. Or do you think that the code of conduct and its amendments should be subject to a vote by the MKR community? This is the first concern that we have in this. Um, and for each option, we have a proposal. So the proposal option one, which is the review period plus the possibility of modification by vote. Okay, so in this proposal for the development updates of the code of conduct by the governance facilitator, it suggests that a 30-day review period in which the maker ecosystem can ask questions and provide feedback for improvement. And if you can see, the code of conduct would become effective after this review period, and that an MKR vote could then amend the code of conduct. Although this particular option has pros and cons, so yes, the pros includes it's going to be faster because of the immediate application of the code of conduct and a feedback system before it takes effect. And it also, of course, because of this, it also allows modification via votes if needed. However, potential issues include the code of conduct being in effect until modified, and even if misaligned. So the possibility that facilitators might not follow feedback and warnings existent here. And so these are the pros and cons that we have found. Probably there are many more, but we are or so far have encountered these. And then we have the option number 2. Oh, I see TV's type in. Anyone wants to comment on this, please go ahead. Then we have the option number 2, which is which suggests that the code of conduct and the periodic updates by the governance facilitator, of course, should require approval through an MKR vote to come into effect. So an MKR vote would also be necessary for any amendments to the code of conduct. And as you can see, these also have like pros and cons. The pros include the reducing risk and limiting power to facilitators. This is what Cloaky is stating, right? And well, this also ensures that the code of conduct is effectively only through a vote. But as you can see, however, there's also cons, and this involve potential slowness, which is the opposite from the option 1, and bureaucracy in having to vote on the code of conduct in each modification. So as you can see, the question here is raised about whether the benefits outweigh the drawbacks. So slow and bureaucratic to have to vote on the code of conduct and each modification. Is it worthwhile? Oh, I see your names also type in. So I don't know if Clocky, you have anything else to add into here. You would like to add something else? Please go ahead. And then yeah. So if you have any insights, please go ahead, type it on the chat. Well, we do believe that it's necessary for the code of conduct to be incorporated into MIP 113. And in order to be to contribute to the development of this code of conduct, we propose that it should include at least the misaligned acts covered by the atlas. In the atlas, if you read it there, already mentions what acts are considered misaligned for each alignment conserver. So this is what we have for proposal. Oh, I see a comment here. Now, does having the code of conduct work against what the atlas intends to achieve? The next gen atlas and its design achieve ecosystem alignment through incentives, financial penalties, and competition. I wouldn't say that it works against what the atlas intends to achieve, but why is it? This is more the opposite. It wants to be included also there. Um, in order to have a one place to know all the what are considered misaligned actions for alignment conservators to be in one specific place. I don't know if you can maybe dive more into this concern through name. That would be really helpful. Okay, so in this part we have this because despite the what we mentioned the previous concern, we do believe that it's important and it's crucial to include the code of conduct in MIP 113. And so this, as you can see, this is the proposal 4.1.1.2.2, and that it can be amended through an MKR vote. And we do have also kind of like put all the misaligned actions in our proposal. So we encourage to take it a look and tell us what you think. Um, okay, and then we have the code of conduct for alignment conservants includes 4.1.1.2 for A, and MKR votes can invade it. And as you can see, the rationale behind this integration is to systematize, to facilitate consultation, to provide access for guides, and allow modification through an MKR vote if deemed necessary by the maker ecosystem. So it will be these two, 4.1.1.2.2, and number 3, which will be the cloud of conduct for alignment conservators. Before we move on to the next part, let me go back. We're going to put it in these two options because I see there are people typing. And it's okay if you take time. I know that typing might take time. We have some questions there. Do you believe it makes sense to have one? There are some subjective actions that could be considered misaligned. Do they need to be codified through a code of conduct or just leave it to facilitators' interpretation? The name says we do not think it makes sense. We're doing work to develop and codify the spirit of the atlas and to build facilitator action examples. If they are aligned and misaligned with specified penalties, the aim is to achieve what codes of conduct try to do, but in our opinion, fail and create misalignment and conflict. Oh, okay. So adding a code of conduct do not help. It would be completely the opposite. Is what you're saying through name. Okay. And you say you're working on the spirit, of course, the spirit of the atlas, and to build a facilitator action examples. And we're gonna talk also about that. We do believe that ADs understand much better these tasks, right? The action examples and the weekly tasks that are being asked for. Actually, this is also coming into here because if you saw last Friday's calls, where Runs mentioned about the AVC's roles, is going to focus about section improvement, which was optional for ADs and facilitators, but there's need more help into that. But yes, that is actually a good point that we would like to address it, that it's not so simple to understand about the tasks that ADs and facilitators are asked to do, and we would like also to help, but how? That's the question. Going to go into this, but it's perfect that you're actually pointing it out right now, through names. Thank you. Actually, I'm going to go ahead and focus on this part. Um, which also involves part of this. So I'm just going to mention here the end game age, which I also, this was mentioned by Ron, that it was like a really useful post that's going to help ADs and facilitators with the work they're doing. So that it's we want to know if it's really useful, if any of the ADs or facilitators have already used it. And the goal is like to short the time, right? We have read on the forum and we have read on the Discord comments about ADs how it's more difficult than it looks like, the do the element analysis and all the tasks that has been left out. So the what Edgen H put on the post was kind of like step by step, right? In order to improve the quality, but also kind of like reducing the time. So is it working? Is it useful? How are you adding it to your technique when you are providing your work? It'll be actually good to know about it. I have passed some slides and focus on this because this is a very interesting point that you have mentioned. We have put it also about the proposals modifications that includes AVC's roles, that it's actually in this part, right? When Aaron mentioned that he wants AVCs to focus more on discussing and understanding how the next generation atlas will work. And this is perfect that you guys are, I mean, 80s, we believe that because of the tasks that you are providing weekly, understand a little bit better than probably us. And so if you want to guide us a little bit, how can we started by doing this? We are having a massive issue with section improvement. We're actually trying to uh, provide work focus into this is what ABC should focus, right? And so yes, if there is any, for example, if any of the members that are here, or I mean the ecosystem actors that are in here, have reviewed sovereign finance work on the first week, we did provide our work with the element analysis and transmittal part as well. But I don't know if anyone had the time to review our work, and because actually we don't know if it was properly done. So yes. Let me read the comments. Yes, as Pedro mentioned, in this regard, currently, to be sincere, we are struggling to understand our must do in this context where the atlas is being transmuted, and you're focusing your resources on to do that. We've been trying to figure out how, as AVC members, we can help, or what should we do, and if anything at all. And yes, I don't believe this is only us struggling as AVC, but we wanted to to mention it, and to probably people that are more involved in their tasks on the next generation atlas, so can guide us. We have a draft, but yeah, we won't share it yet, about the section improvement and how it's our interpretation of section improvement. But if anyone would like to share their work on section improvements that can be considered well done, Oh, please go ahead. I'll put ask some questions in the chat. How are you taking your new GAIT assignments? I've been trying to follow your work and other delegates' work on the transmitter and facilitator DAO examples. I'm not sure I fully understand the transmutation process yet. There are certain 80s, like Cloaky and Blue, that and more, I think, that are considered to be doing a really good job. Uh, to name. So I think this you could really help us into understanding more a little bit about this. Something very interesting that was also for last Friday's call is that week by week, we're going to start realizing who are the ones that understand the tasks and the ones that don't ask for help to the ones that are understanding better. And so this was very interesting because what Ron mentioned is that let's start working as a team, right? So this group that has been created, and I think that yesterday was had the first meetup. I'm quoting meetup. Was it was necessary. I don't know if anyone wants to add something relevant about yesterday's meetup about the GAIT. But yeah, I don't know if it's possible to do something similar like that, but with AVCs. It's like AVCs, okay, maybe more than one AVC is struggling with doing this task. Let's have a call that involves just these particular tasks. And everyone kind of like brainstorming on this, but I don't know if this is can be done. I'm just like thinking out loud, but it could be interesting. And as we thought about the need for a code of conduct in order to try to give certainty to the alignment conserver subject to sanctions to try to avoid possible abuses, but it is interesting your opinion about it. To name, we're still trying to understand how we as an AVC can contribute best in this new phase. Yeah, so I think that's the part where brainstorming really is going to help. But yes, this is the particular part. So how do you understand about the task for 80s that it was mentioned in here, that it's the section improvement? Well, if again, if anyone wants to share the link of their this, so we can like review it, that will be helpful. And then something else that it was like it caught oh well, it was mentioned during last Friday's calls. It's about this part that AVCs are allowed to submit NIPs and have the authority to modify or add budgets. But it was very it was pointed out that altering their own compensation be considered misaligned. And so this is something that it was relevant to point it in here, or maybe future modifications, what we are allowed to and not allowed to as AVC members. So yes, it is part. I don't have any other relevant from that involves directly AVCs, or maybe no, but it could be helpful for us as as AVC. Thing that I okay, I'm seeing here. Okay, says I will raise this question to Ron during tomorrow's meeting on behalf of this AVC. It appears that it might be premature to consider section improvement at this time. Oh, that's okay. I mean, we know that we are in an early stage, but we were trying to already work on the section improvement since in the call something like that was like Rune mentioning that AVC should focus on section improvement, but it's actually good to know that this is way too early stage, right? But another way that as AVC members we can cooperate was let us know. Long-term strategy, I see. Okay. Vision and perspectives that are unique to sovereign finance are things that AVC should discuss and contribute, including how the atlas is intended to work at high level, how AI can support AVC's process. That's good. Actually helpful. That are unique to sovereign finance. Okay. To we were. I don't know if there is any other insights or comment about the alignment sovereign codes of conduct. If not, okay, let's go to Clockies. Okay, let me share this is from Clockies docs. Oh, I see. Her name is typing, which is good. Just in case, let me put it here. I don't want to put pressure on you, just keep typing her name. I'm going to move on into this. And once you are done typing it, we'll read it. Okay. Now we're back. We're moving to Clocky's comments and proposals on governance scope. Well, as you can, this is a quote from their document, and as you can read in the slide, well, Cloaky expresses the belief that it's important, it's crucial to establish a requirement for vote justification to be posted within a reasonable time frame after voting to be considered valid. And this, of course, it's in context within the, of course, the section 6 that includes aligned delegates, or involves aligned delegates, and it outlines that governance facilitators must ensure that all the rules of AD are followed as specified in ATL 2.6. What is Cloaky's proposal? Well, Cloaky's proposal suggests adding a new section that it's 6.4. It's aligned delegate participation requirements. And this proposed addition emphasizes that for on AD's communication metrics, a vote justification should be posted within 24 hours after the AD has voted, although it can also be posted before the vote. Of course, this is aimed at ensuring transparency and accountability in the voting process. Before asking for this, there it is. Let me go back to the comments. As Rung explained, the phases of GAIT work. We're getting a working version of the next generation atlas ready that can handle governance. Is a requirement for the launching sub-DAOs. The tools we are developing and once supporting governance executing spellcasting can then leverage all efforts to begin improving the scopes. That's our takeaway at this point. We are a bit hamstrung until making a certain amount of progress of consistency with the new atlas. Thank you for your insight. Actually, that is a good point about that. If it's not the right time, it's not gonna be useful the work, right? So we know that we're like a stage 2, right? So it's still way too early. Okay. Editor says we should focus on a long-term strategy rather than on the current situation where we cannot have a direct impact or be that helpful. Um, we agree on that. I think Trinam as well. And yeah, don't you ever like feel like you are not doing enough, and that's why you're okay. I think that's what is happening to us, and yes, but it actually makes sense what you're saying, Trinam. But still, I think that there's need to be more like interpretation into into this part. Where is it? Oh, what has been recently added, right? About AVCs must devote time and energy towards discussing and understanding how the next generation atlas will work and how to incorporate AI efficiently into long-term governance and AVCs operations. Okay, so let's focus this, but in a long-term strategy. Got it. Um, I don't know if there's more insights in this. Okay, so going back to the proposals, Cookies proposal, it's to add 6.4. This section that it's to be included, the AD's communication metrics about justification communication should be posted within 24 hours after the AD has voted, but it can also be posted prior to the vote. Well, would this be like reasonable to and helpful if it's added? If we include a requirement for 80s to justify their vote within 24 hours, is this particular proposal helpful? Well, we're putting the question out there. And for this part, um, again, Cloaky, I don't know if there's anything else that you would like to add. If not, it's okay. I see, and I'm just typing and I'm loving it. So let me, again, no pressure, just keep typing. I'm going to move on to the next part. Well, I already mentioned about the first one, right? We have endgame age that it's officially incorporated in MIP 113. You probably are aware that tech and SICA financials are removed from the list of facilitator budgets. And SES is now ecosystem, right? So they are in charge of I mean, they are the facilitators that support protocol stability and accessibility scope facilitators. Okay, let me see if there is no. Okay, says, oh, um, as currently written, an AD has the ability to submit a justification 2 months later, and technically it would still be considered valid. So yes, this the big difference is about the 24-hour time period. So it's yes, there. Thank you for adding that. Okay, and now the name says AVCs in the design of NN are intended to have this long-term perspective and guard against tail risks. The scope advisors and ecosystem actors, once fully in place, are dealing with the day-to-day in tactical choices. There are also new approaches to project-based funding being developed along with the DAO toolkit and the mechanisms within the new atlas itself to protect how an immutable set of rules interact with the rules that can be changed on modify on an ongoing basis. Now that you mentioned about the scope advisors, um, there also mentions something about it. Just let me. I think I had some notes about this during the call. He mentions about also having inputs from advisors. And there was this question, like how to hire the right advisors, how to negotiate a budget, how to track budgets, since there was like this particular concern for a specific example, like for a test, right? And so yeah, there were some these particular questions that were brought by Rune, on what AVCs can focus on. And so, well, that brings us also to the part that we had a proposal about this, about how can we hire the perfect members for in that moment. Advisory council now, scope advisors, right? Um, but yes. And about what Cloaky wrote, True Name says in the old system, the time was 1 week. 2 months later, and the 80 would not qualify for participation metrics in the current month. Okay. Marian says, I like this proposal, Cloaky. They seem to be small details, but they make for better governance practices. In this case, justifying the vote within a reasonable period of time. Cloaky says, I include 24 hours as a placeholder because the atlas does not currently provide a specific time frame. Perhaps a week would be adequate, but I believe even shorter time frame would be more sensible. Okay, so 24 hours, more sensible, but it could be also a week. Okay, so I'm liking this. Okay, is he typing true name PB? Good. We're gonna be taking notes about this. This has been like really productive for us, since we really want to have work that it's relevant and not just, I don't know, do something and then since we are not in the right stage, it's not be really useful. So, well, that what involves the improvement per se. Now, moving on to this proposal, I'm gonna continue, and then once you are done typing, oh, there. Trinam says, in our case, 24 hours is not adequate. We have a distributed team and have to coordinate on physical voting and approvals for the analysis of our reasoning. At times, we have required reviews and input for our external counsel. That's a good insight. What do you think about a week, Trinam? Let's see. Professor will try though. We will try though to share some examples on transmutation and of scope improvers to see if we are getting it. I don't know how we can understand how Gen AI support processes if we don't understand how it is being designed. Yeah, we don't want to put like a timeline, but yes, you're going to see our work, and probably we're going to ask for your feedback just to know if we understand how is it done. Um, this is regarding the AC bootstrapping focus. So I don't know if anyone else wants to focus on this part. Okay. What it says in here is that ACs, alarming conservator. Just remember that AC now it's just alarming conservator. What is used to be advisory council now is a scope advisor. Just to point that out. So all AC must devote significant work and resources toward the development of an AI-enabled next generation that it's machine readable and has improved consistency and data quality. So AC alignment conservative, this includes both delegates, PDs, RDs, facilitators, and they all must generate and publish output on a weekly basis that brings the community closer to be able to properly adopt the next generation atlas solution. Um, Something else that it's relevant to mention is that PDs have the highest responsibility, and then it goes with facilitators and then artists. Something else that we want to mention in here, and probably this is what we're going to start noticing the previous week, the one that more more alignment concern gets the word right. um Ones that are not putting enough effort and are not like in the same standard as most of the alignment conservers, they even can be considered misaligned, and even they're recognized by the governance facilitators after a warning. What we want to know the insights on this particular part. We know that the work that you've been providing it has been really good, but even existed like the possibility, right? Maybe 1 week for different reasons you provide something that it's not at the level as most um alignment conservers. So what do you think about this particular part? um About the 24 hours, the Tribune commented, Cloaky says, I failed to see how any of those factors would impede the ability to track a justification prior to voting, let alone within a 24-hour time frame. Actually, this is good to know different perspectives and the reason behind it, so it's good. Jack says, it seems very subjective unless you're just counting the numbers of submissions, would prefer this to be triggered based on objective measures, even if imperfect. I think it's always have to be quality over quantity, but maybe it needs to be more expressed, right, in detail in this part. But I don't think like if you provide mm, multiple tasks, but you don't do it the right way, it's gonna count as okay, you're delivering the right tasks. But yes, probably there could be included more details, and actually this is the perfect time for us to add proposals. How do you judge quality easily enough to basically fire someone in this case? That's a good question. I think that so far each other are like rating the works, right? Some yes. So according to what Rune mentioned during last Friday's calls, the rating so far looks good. It's like he trusts the way each other are rating, and so that's the way they're qualifying the work. If you got a good score, it means that if you got a good score but majority, it means that you're working well. I don't know. I would like to know more insights on this about more. Or as brought up yesterday in Resiliency AVC, no one doing the grading, including Rune, works with LLMS, so don't really know if anyone is doing good work for sure. Interesting. No one is working with LLMS. I assume yet. Um, what makes sense to bring in someone professional to do grading if someone can be penalized? This is a good one. Yes. Let me gonna put this. So yes, that's a really good suggestion that it brings. I don't know if anyone else, uh, someone really deep into this, into LMMs, so you could grade. But yes, I think so far. Well, again, let's repeat that this is a very very early stage, but yes, once probably in the near future, it's gonna be necessary. Um, yes, because we're talking about penalizing and all and everything. So yes, I don't know if before we go to the next one, if there's anyone. Yes, the Jax is typing. But okay, this is this is this is good to take into account how can really be measured the participation, and also if it's really good, the work that you are putting there or not. Um, yeah, so far I think it's the one that Rune is taking into account each other's grades. But yes. I don't know if there's Jack, if there's any other relevant comment from resiliency AVC that you would like to mention that would be really helpful. We're going to look also to the recording. Oh, I see. PV is also typing. As I already mentioned about this, I'm not going to focus on this part since I already talk about it. I don't know if anyone wants to bring out more about the AVCs and how and what they should focus on. Well, this. Okay. Oh, well, we have also this part, which is from Blue, and he brought this up about. There has been actually not just this particular like last Thursday, but there. I think it was this week, and Discord was down, and I think it was Monday, Tuesday. I can't really remember, but this could happen anytime. This could be happening now. Thank God it's not. But so what Blue mentioned is that it is essential to have a well-defined contingency plan in place should our current communication platform fail. This should not be required by any of the scopes since it's an AVC matter and there are already defined consequences for the AVC should it fail to comply. Um, Yes, I think that something that we internally as an AVC is looking for this to happen is we have Meet, we have Zoom. So in case and if prior the call starts, um, Discord fails, we can communicate to the forum the link of the Zoom or Meet, which is a platform that we have. And so yes, that will be so far our solution. Um, Persons don't. Did you believe that they are receiving support from the launch project, although it is not disclosed yet? They who? Can you please be more specific? Oh, I think there is. Okay, I'm not reading. I failed to. There are a lot of comments now. Okay. Yes, that's the one. Jack says, I don't believe anything until I verify it, though I have claimed yes. Okay, we are on the final minutes and we have this, but yes, if there is any other suggestion in order for us to avoid this kind of problem, well, let us know. But so far, I think it's the best way to avoid not make the call because of Discord. Well, just doing another. Um. Okay, then. Well, we do not have. This is just a recall of our last governance scope, but this is already on the draft of our proposal, so we're not going to focus on this. This has been really useful for us, so thank you so much, True Name, Jack, for your comments, Cloaky, Blue, and we would like more of this kind of call. So that will be all for today's call, and see you next week. Even if you have any other specific topic that would you like us to bring out during next week, that it's, if I'm not mistaken, support scope, let us know. That will be all. Thank you so much. Bye bye.